We got about a foot of snow overnight. And what we're doing today is we are testing out the Continental Viking 7 tires, and we want to validate and make sure that you're buying the right tires and that you're also getting snow tires if you live in a place where it snows a lot. So as you can see sort of here, we had just an overnight snow that was pretty crazy. So I'm going to try to get to some places where we have a bunch of snow so that we can test out these. So just riding in the middle of this median here so that we can see what that's like. But honestly, the overall impressions that I've had, the acceleration, the braking, you might have seen the video where I actually showed me being able to stop when this truck was basically spinning out on a turn. So obviously there are certain scenarios and each car is different. So I have this Tesla Model 3 that I daily drive, and you know, the traction is really great and the brakes are great as well. So overall, you know, I have a pretty decent benchmark to go off of, something that's all-wheel drive versus rear-wheel drive, and the traction management system in this car is very good. So just keep that in mind when we talk about different cars and different aspects of your car driving in the snow. So again, talking about these Viking Contact 7s, they are really great. They give me the grip that I need. These are 235 width and the pricing is right here. They're not that expensive. Comparing these to the Yokohama ice guards that I had, they're pretty on par, if not just a little bit better. Obviously they're on two different cars, so it's hard to compare apples to apples when we're talking about two completely different cars. So here, I'm gonna just get into here. But yeah, it's just very predictable. I mean, it's not like stopping in the dry. We're not gonna compare driving in the snow to driving in dry or wet conditions, because those are completely different scenarios. But I'm gonna get to a spot where we can drive in the snow and we can see how predictable it is, how the acceleration is. Again, the traction management of this particular car is really great. So actually here is a spot where there's a bunch of snow. Okay, so this is just a little parkway. I don't know how much snow is actually through our speed bump here. So right here there's about maybe 4 inches. So right here, braking with the ABS, getting started again, is pretty easy. And then there's a bus coming down here, so yeah, just testing out the traction management of this car, and I can turn off and on the where are the sides here? Got a bus coming up here, so I don't want to run into it. So my right tire is driving in the actual snow and my left tire is not in a bank of snow. So, and all of this is not plowed, so I cannot really even see. Like, this is now into like a foot, so I can possibly get stuck here. So definitely don't want to do that. But honestly, like, stopping, so I'm gonna stop dead. Sorry, the car is trying to place it in hold. So I'm gonna try to start from dead here and then try to accelerate. So right here, it seems like I'm pretty stuck. So what I'm going to do here is turn on driving, and then I'm gonna turn on slip start. So we're rocking back and forth, and then finally got loose. So with these tires, you can actually get unstuck, which is crazy. Obviously, I had to put it in slip start, and once you're actually moving in this car, you're fine to move around a bit. I'm not gonna do anything crazy in here because this parking lot's quite small, but this also has the traction where I can turn off the traction completely, so, or basically completely. Yeah, I can't tell where the sidewalk is and where the sidewalk isn't, so I want to make sure I don't do anything stupid here. But this car can come to a complete stop and start going again. Like, this is crazy. This is literally a foot of snow here, at least, if not more. Okay, so I'm now in track mode, and it's the drift preset, so it turns off most of the traction here, and it makes it more rear biased, putting the power more handling wise to the rear. So this is what it would essentially be like if I had a rear wheel drive car with no traction on. So yeah, it's just handling this like a boss. So if I'm accelerating here, let's get up to, we're at like 15 miles an hour, and then hit the brakes. Yeah, it stops real good. And then we're back to stopped because no traction. Yeah, so this is really good. Really good. I cannot complain about these Viking Contact 7s. I honestly have to give them kudos for this, and I can definitely recommend these just by seeing how well this does in the snow here. Like, a foot of snow! Like, I get some Canadians are kind of just like, yeah, the Nokian Hakkapelitos or whatever they're called are probably better. And my cousin has them, so, you know, and he is able to vouch for them. They are very good tires. These are pretty on point when you talk about cost ratio, and yeah, I really can't complain about these tires in these particular scenarios. Have to give Continental a huge thumbs up. Not sponsored or anything like that. This is just me buying them and driving it around. So, although Continental, if you're interested, you know, give me a call. This is this is ridiculous. It's like a monster truck. I'm sure I'm like rubbing, and there's issues with like ground clearance for this car, but man, it just eats that up. And I was able to get out of being completely stuck. Like stopped in 12 inches of snow. Okay, so these where you gotta be careful because you know other people don't have snow tires, so you need to make sure you're careful around other people. And make sure that you're overall very defensive. Give yourself a lot of room. Give yourself more room than you need. And I think that's the major issue, is that they should really make it mandatory for people to, like driving in inclement weather, to have snow tires. That would be awesome. That way I wouldn't have to necessarily worry as much. So like right here, they plowed pretty decent chunk here. And we'll get to some place where it's a little bit less dangerous. Like here on the left side here, there's like a bank, and on the right side there's a pretty big curb too, so you don't want to really just run into that. But just control left and right. It doesn't get stuck in the snow. It's very easy to turn left and right. Now, keep in mind, I am going 24 miles an hour right now, and the speed limit here is 30. So typically you'd be blasting around here at like 35 miles an hour or 40 miles an hour. But I could get to those speeds, but the thing is you want to make sure you're a little bit careful, but just make sure that the car can handle it. So just moving left and right, it can turn left and right at these slower speeds. At higher speeds, that's where you run into issues, but yeah, again, it's snow tires, so it's not going to save you from everything, and they're not studded, so you know, these are pretty good for what money can buy. People may complain about, you know, having to switch tires on and off, and you will incur a hefty fee if you're incurring that all the time, switching back and forth between seasons, and that's something that I wouldn't necessarily recommend. I purchased a separate set of wheels and tires so that I can do this. So we're gonna change this into drift mode here. So this is all snow, and this is about a foot of snow. See what we can do here. Well, it can do donuts. Right now we're at 20 miles an hour, full out stop. There we go. And then get up and go. Nice and easy. Everything's back on, so I'm gonna sort of speed through here. See if I can get a stop in. 25 miles an hour. Yeah, it seems very controllable. Obviously it's not, again, it's not like driving in the dry, but yeah, it's super controllable, and I would definitely say that these tires doing a good job. That's all she wrote for this video. We can probably do a more in-depth like drift mode sort of thing and what that's actually like, but yeah, it's fun. It's a fun car.